What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We're going to look at some PC games that I haven't shown off before on the Iron Ear today. As you can see, I've got Play Night running here. I'm actually trying to think of the best kind of theme to use with Play Night because, I don't know, this was the suggested one, and although it looks cool, it does cut off like box arts and stuff. I don't know if I'd rather have it like a bit more rectangular. So I'm going to mess around with that. But you know, as far as getting all the games into one space, Play Night seems to be one of the best ways to get a load of games together from Steam, Uplay, Origin, all them good ones. So yeah, I got a few games to show for you today. We're going to be looking at Disco Elysium. We're going to be looking at Alan Wake Remastered. Yeah, so we go straight into Alan Wake Remastered. As you can see, my desktop is super clean. I've learnt my lesson from the last Nier. That was cluttered. But considering it's like a handheld gaming device, it doesn't need to have a lot of stuff on the screen for me anyway. As long as it opens up Play Night as soon as I start the system, and then yeah, we go from there. So as far as Alan Wake Remastered goes, I've had a mixed bag on playing it. I'll show you the graphics I'm running. So I try to keep resolution scale at 100% just because I want the game to look as sharp as possible. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of spoiled because I do like playing PC games. I don't want the games to look terrible, but then again, I do play a lot of Switch, and the big games on Switch don't look great. So like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being spoiled a bit. But yeah, if you did want to drop that down resolution scale down to something like 80, you definitely get a lot better performance. But I just want to show you what I'm running at. If we keep TAA on, that doesn't affect performance too much. MSA, keep that off because that does affect performance. Probably drop these down to medium. Draw distance probably could go down a little bit too, I think. And then if we save that, and we continue the game. I'm currently in 15 watt because I have been playing Liberty City, GTA 4 at the minute. But I'll just turn it down a bit. But yeah, I think it's locked at 30 FPS at the minute. Yeah, it is. It's 100% locked at 30 FPS. Let's drop it down. I mean, let's just make sure we... See, that's what I don't understand. Like, it was on a 100% resolution scale, but then it dropped it down to 60 without me even asking it to. Weird. So if I turn off VSync, that shouldn't lock. Everything else is how I left it. Alright. So yeah, this is with the settings. This is at 15 watt as well. I don't know if I can prove that easily. I'll put it into 15 watt just to show you. So there we go, 15 watt down here. And as you can see, 36 FPS, 34 FPS. Kind of runs similar to the original game. And I was having a few issues trying to get the original game to run at a decent frame rate. That god ray, the sunlight. But I mean, as far as a portable gaming experience, and you're used to playing Switch, like, I mean, it looks great, but obviously it's just at 30 FPS. I try and get stuff to run as close to 60 as possible, but sometimes that isn't possible, and you know, unless you drop it down to low, and I don't really want to play it in low. I want it to actually look nice. I mean, you could technically drop the resolution scale down. Let's see what it's like at 80. Might not look too bad, and we might be able to get 60 out of it. So with resolution scale down at 80, we've managed to grab an extra 10 FPS. At that point, I'd rather just keep it at 100 and just keep it. I was hoping it would jump straight to 60. Let's put it at 60% resolution scaling. Yeah, this resolution scaling doesn't really seem to be changing the frame rate that much, giving us like an extra 5 FPS. I reckon if we just keep it at 100. Let's just double check all the settings here. Maybe turn TA off. Maybe I was wrong about that one not affecting it. Let's see. Nah, so I was pretty right about that. It's really affects it by a couple of FPS, but it does help to keep the environment looking nice and sharp. So you could go down to low. Let's just double check low and see how that looks. Again, doesn't really affect the FPS, but I mean, makes the game look worse. I'm not sure if you have to reset the settings in order for them to fully take effect, but yeah, I'd rather just keep it at medium. So yeah, guys, looks like you're gonna have to be playing this one in 30 FPS. I mean, again, that's not a deal breaker. I mean, that's an average FPS for a Switch game, isn't it? So if you're used to that, then I'm sure you can get used to playing it on here. And it does look really nice though as well, so bonus. But yeah, I guess this is technically a pretty difficult one to run. And you got a lot of lighting effects, haven't you? Because light and dark play massive roles in this game. But yeah, guys, I don't want to spend too much time on this game. I want to move on to something else pretty soon. But as you can see, playable at 30 FPS. I'm pretty sure that's why I must have turned VSync on. So if you turn VSync on, it'll just make the 30 FPS smoother. So yeah, before I freak myself out, because I did remember that this starting scene does have a weird, creepy old woman in it. So yeah, so I'll see you back in Disco Elysium. Now this game I did originally start on the Switch, but because it was a pretty, I mean the port wasn't that it was bad, it was just the limitations of the Switch really just ruined the experience. I mean, there was loading screens that go on for like 30 seconds in and out of buildings and stuff. I was like, nah, I'll probably wait till the Ioneer comes back and I can play it on here. So, and as you'll be happy to know, it plays great. I'm in 9 watt at the minute. Just going to show you my settings. So I'm running it at medium environment FX, anti-aliasing ×4. That could do to be turned down if it isn't hitting around 60. So I'll have a look. Shader quality modest. There isn't a lot of settings you can change, but yeah. If I just continue, should show you how quickly the loading times are. I mean, I'm running this on an SSD, pretty goddamn quick. So, as you can see, this is 9 watts, so if you're happy hitting around 48, I know there's not a lot of stuff going on in this game as far as action and stuff. It's more of a point and click kind of text adventure RPG. So, I don't know, 50 FPS is decent. I mean, it's 20 more than the Switch is getting, but if you want to boost it, let's put it into 12 watt. So in 12 watt, you probably want to stick to 12 watt. I mean, you're getting 2.5 hours of battery, 2 to 3 hours of battery life, and you're hitting 60 FPS. So I'd definitely stick to it 60 FPS at 12 watt. I've just remembered I have a lot of saves, so let's just load to a different save. But yeah, I've been dying to play this game. I know it won Game of the... Did it win Game of the Year? 1 year, a couple of years ago. It definitely won a few awards though when it came out. I think it did win Game of the Year. But yeah, I haven't played it, and it has really decent built-in control support, so... As you can see, if you're a fan of these kind of RPGs, very heavy RPGs with a lot of dice rolling and possibilities and outcomes, then yeah, you play as a detective. You're a bit of a dumbass at the start, to be fair, but you can really craft your character. You can be a smart-ass detective. You can be a big, tough brute detective. There's a lot of scope in it, and there's a lot of insanely written characters as well. And the dialogue is very, very complex and philosophically deep. Very cool. So you use the right stick to select areas on the where you want to speak to. Let's speak to Kinsaraga, I think he's called. But the thing is that if you speak to someone on here and you accidentally sound like a dumbass, they'll hold it against you for the rest of the game. I'm trying not to... He kind of thinks I'm an idiot. And yeah, I've been kind of asking him the same thing over and over again, and he's kind of caught onto that, and he's like, why do you keep asking me this? It's pretty insane, the writing style and stuff. But... yeah, so as you can see, it's one of these kinds of games. If you know what it's about, then you know what it's about. It's got insane reviews though, so if you're not familiar with it, definitely have a look at it. But I mean, as far as showing off gameplay for it, it comes across as pretty boring because there's a lot of dialogue.
We are police officers. It's our job to
So I'm currently trying to discuss something with him, and I might actually fuck up
You mean like a brief?
an important
There's
part.
no-
There we go. Right. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, you've got a rain effect going on now as well. A lot of people in the environment. It's hovering around 58, 55 to 60, depending on the amount of people in the environment. Looks insane, looks great. I mean, looks as good as it's going to look unless you have it on higher settings. But on a smaller screen like this, it's really doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, Disco Elysium, if you know what it is, then you're going to be happy to know that it runs perfectly on the Switch at 12 watts, so you can get 3 hours of battery life. Welcome back, we're on Psychonauts 2. Pretty tricky one to run. I'll show you the settings I've got. I mean, if you're hoping to run it at a high, you're probably going to be satisfied with 30 FPS, but no, we don't want to run it at high. I'm going to bring it down to medium. Medium on all of these. It keeps 100% resolution scale. This is still in 12 watts, so we'll just resume game and see what it's like. But yeah, I know this game's on the Game Pass and it's supposed to be really good, isn't it? I haven't even played the first one, to be fair, so I can't really tell you what it's about that much. But I can tell you that it runs at 30 FPS at 12 watt. So if you're happy playing it at 30 FPS, you can get around 3 hours of battery life from it. We try and hop up to 15 watt. I don't really like to go any higher than 15 watt because then you're just compromising on battery life. So at 15 watt, you're still looking at around 38. So I don't know if I'd rather just stick with, it's gone up to 42. So I guess you're getting like an extra 7 or 8 FPS. Not terrible. It's a shame it doesn't run any higher than that, but it's a new game, so maybe drop that down to 90. Might be able to get it to 60 FPS. Not quite. You know what, I really thought resolution scaling would have affected the FPS a lot more than it actually does, but whatever. So if you're happy at running an 80% resolution scaling, you can get it to 50 FPS, but this is still at 15 watt, so you're still only going to get 2 hours of battery life on it. Let's drop it down to 70. I wouldn't really go any lower than 70 because you can kind of see it being quite blurry. That's pretty good. I mean, if you're happy running it at 70, you're happy running it at 70% resolution scaling. Obviously, it's going to be sub 720p resolution at the moment, but runs great. Doesn't look terrible either. It just doesn't look as sharp as it normally would. I know these environments are must be quite heavy on the processor. Let's just turn the sound down a bit. Yeah, seems like a pretty cool game. You got like psychic abilities and stuff. I played it on the Xbox for a little bit, which is why it's quite cool on Game Pass. It picks up the save, it syncs your saves across both platforms, so that's a pretty cool feature. Yeah, I mean, for the style that it is, the art style it is, 70% resolution scale don't really make it look terrible. But I don't know, I'd rather run it at 100, so let's just fiddle around with the settings a bit more. Maybe if we turn anti-aliasing off, doesn't really massively affect the FPS, does it? We keep it on FXA anti-aliasing. We could combo that. There's the beauty of these games, and you just get to mess about. So if we drop that down to like 85 now with the FXA, we should be looking at a higher. Maybe not. It's all about experimenting, getting to the performance that you want to run it at. So yeah. I'm still not 100% sure what the hell I'm doing in this game though. I'm not sure if I have to go through this photograph. Yeah. It's very cool how the environment changes so quickly on this game though. It's almost like Ratchet and Clank-esque in the way that they were showing off their SSD, you know, going through the portals and getting into different dimensions quickly. Does a similar thing on this game. Let's put it back to 100%.
You take care of them while I find a way out, okay?
Yeah, no, definitely playable, just not hitting 60, but you could definitely lower the graphic settings to hit 60. Well, there you go, Psychonauts 2 on the Ioneer. I tried to show you a range of different things you can do to get the settings proper, but you're going to be running this at 15 watt, so unless you really severely limit yourself. But yeah, that's not bad for 2 hours life, 2 hours battery life. So I'll show you one more game. Welcome to Ghostbusters, guys. I know the new film's just come out, so why not show you the video game? The video game for Ghostbusters is actually awesome, so they did a great job on it. I know 2 of the main guys actually wrote the story for this, so a lot of people see it as the third kind of film in the series. Yeah, so these are the settings I'm running at the moment. Obviously being a bit optimistic and trying to run it at high, but performance has been pretty sick on this game, so you'll see. If I just resume the story mode mission that I'm in, not too far in there, but a little bit past the first mission. As you can see, I'm currently running at 15 watt, smooth 60, which is really sick. It's so nice to be able to play this in 60 FPS, because I know the Switch port is definitely 30. I know this is one of the highest settings you can run. So if you want to be a bit cheeky and drop it down to 12 watt, like we are now, you could run it in 12 watt, you can get an extra half an hour's battery life, and it pretty much holds 60 as well. So very well optimized game. I know it's a pretty old game now, but it looks really nice on the screen. And if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, I definitely recommend this game. It's awesome. You get to fight Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the first mission.
That one's a beast, Ray. Let's chase him down. Winston, check that next doorway, see if he has any friends. Leave a haunted room.
So you do a lot of investigating as well with the crew. All fully voice acted as well. It's pretty insane.
But dissipate quickly over distance. And please be careful. It's a prototype. We're trusting you with it.
The stasis stream will temporarily slow down paranormal entities. If you train the stream on the target long enough, you can actually stop it entirely.
So the only time you'll see frame dips in this is if you're in a huge fight with a load of ghosts, because obviously you've got a lot of particle effects going off with all the equipment and stuff.
A stasis stream. This has nothing to do with cold, but the effect is similar.
When do you have the time to work on all this stuff, Egon? I've been conducting an experiment in which I sleep an average 14 minutes a day. Leaves me a lot of time to...
A lot of good jokes and stuff in it as well.
Hey, Haas, you think you can handle
Banter
it
from the crew.
yourself? We'll meet you back here.
Alright. Am I not supposed to be going with this guy? I guess not. No, he just disappeared. He's a ghost, confirmed. Alright.
Come on, after them!
Where do you want me to go, guys? Do you want me to go downstairs? Let's follow this meter, I guess. You scan these environmental things, you get points, you can upgrade your equipment and stuff. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I managed to get this from Epic Games for free, 1 month. And if you guys aren't checking Epic Games every couple of weeks, I 100% recommend it, because they give away free games. And I've kind of just been building a massive library to be able to play on this just from Epic Games alone. So no, 100% recommend checking out Epic Games if you want some free games. I actually never buy any games from there, because obviously Steam's far superior, but as far as getting free games goes, pretty insane. And this room looks insane, holy shit, it's a big ass library. And yeah, we're hitting a solid 60, so I mean, nice amount of battery life. Awesome game. And you get to fight huge ghost bosses like this. The Buck Golem, that's pretty awesome. Though. So I think I'll just spend the rest of the video fighting this Buck Golem. if you have any recommendations, you want us to play anything new's just come out, you want to see how it handles it on the Ioneer. Just to double let you know, this is the regular Ioneer, not the Pro model, because I know the Pro model came out, but I don't think there's a massive difference in the Pros. I reckon it's just the Pros are probably better for CPU heavy gaming, so like emulation style stuff. So as far as actual PC games go, it won't be a huge change unless you're running at a higher wattage, but you know me, I like to keep it at 15 or under. But yeah, I do try and show off games that no one's really shown off before on the Ioneer. Like Disco Elysium, I don't think I've ever seen anyone play Disco Elysium on the Neo, so it's pretty cool. This one I've obviously not ever seen anyone play either, so yeah, if you have any more recommendations of like obscure style games you want to see, just let me know. But yeah, anyway guys, that was the Buck Golem boss, and yeah, that was Ghostbusters. I need a new stand, it says Switch, maybe I'll just block out the Switch part. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, I'll speak to you guys in the next video.